Alan, let's go. It's time to talk about Acolyte episode 3. You were the one who warned me. You warned me about this. Now that everyone has seen it and the memes are on fire, the reaction is across the board. I mean, it's either wildly negative, this is just bad, and the people who are the defenders, they're really scrambling.
Yeah, they're coping. I got to ask you, I texted you. I said, you need to see episode 3. What were your feelings when you got through episode 3?
I thought, first of all, the acting was so bad. The 2 young girls, which I assume was one actor.
No, they were twins.
They were twins.
They're actual.
They were not very good. They were not very good. I'm sorry. They were not. I don't think. And look, no one should harass these kids. They were cast. It's not their fault. They were poorly directed, but they didn't pull it off, if you ask me. There needed to be some sense of the relationship. It just seemed dumb.
But what I'm asking you is, did you feel the same way after episode 3 that I felt?
Yeah, I watched it twice, and it does not hold up, does not make sense. The whole thing of like, she's so mad at her sister because she's going to go away to be a Jedi. She prevents her from doing it by attempting to murder her. So if her sister's either going to go and be a Jedi and be gone, or be murdered and gone. What? And you'll see in episode 4, it seems like they're setting up May to be redeemed. It's just, none of this makes sense. I mean, you can look, when other people were criticizing the show for having that fire in space, and I get it. It's like sitting there and like, it's like burning and like, okay, like, all right, I can forgive that, because plenty of sci-fi plays fast and loose with rules. You've got sound in space. You've got all this shenanigans.
Explosions in space.
Explosion. Yeah. I'm okay with that. They could have made it more believable. It's an oxygen leak and there's fire there, or it was somehow, whatever it is. I'm okay with it. That's the least of the show's problems.
I know, when people were talking about the fire in space, the only thing in my mind was, but you haven't seen episode 3 yet.
Well, Alan, there's so many. I mean, in addition to the witches' coven, which are their Sith witches, or as they say, our kind are not accepted in the galaxy. The galaxy isn't kind.
Women like us.
Yes, the galaxy isn't kind to women like us. Wink, wink, wink. I mean, look, I watched it twice. It gets worse the more you think about it. And I don't know if Star Wars is recoverable. I mean, I checked out after Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
And I'm only checking in out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this. When I saw episode 3, the first thing I thought about was, 10-year-old me who saw A New Hope. And then, 15, 16-year-old me who saw Return of the Jedi. And thinking to myself, how did we get here? Not in my wildest imagination would I ever thought that if I were to logically follow the progress of Star Wars as a franchise and as a series of movies, never in my wildest imagination would I have come across a coven of witches. And it was at that point that I realized this brand is not, Star Wars is not for me anymore. Disney has decided that we old school fans don't matter anymore, and that we're just going to tell our own damn stories. And so to hell with the rest of you. Thanks for thanks for the money. You know, and gratefully, all that money that I spent went to George Lucas. None of it went to Disney. And so you're welcome. Star Wars is yours. Do with it what you will. I am officially off the ride.
Sorry about that, Alan.
No problem.
Continue.
No, that was it. It's you know, that this is what I felt like when I tweeted everything I tweeted. It's over. You know, when we got the first 4 episodes, so we got to binge the whole thing. And I remember after this 3rd episode, going into the 4th episode, I just remember thinking I really could care less what this 4th episode is about.
Right.
Because I checked out. The only thing I'll say about it is I'm kind of curious as to who the Smiley Smith Sith is. And then also I have to believe that there's another flashback coming because it's still unanswered as to what the Jedi actually did. And I have to feel like that's coming in the next 3 episodes.
What drove Torben to off himself?
Mm-hmm.
Because just based on this, it doesn't answer that question. The other thing is, who is Smilo Ren, the Dark Jedi, or the Sith that's training May? Who that is? I think it's pretty clear. The only thing that would make dramatic sense is if it was Mother Anastasia, which is played by Jodie Turner-Smith. That is who that character is. It's either that or the. Right,
if it's her, it's not a surprise. This buildup is, okay, it's her. To me, that's not creative at all.
Right.
Just because it seems obvious.
It's very obvious, and there will be a reveal, and someone's going to say, I am your mother. Wait, no. I am your mother. That sounds like Yoda. I'm your mother.
No.
This we'll know.
Problem is,
we will know. We should do a show on Tuesday, the 16th of July, just to get that out of our system. We'll do it after that.
All right.
After the show is over.
Final
debrief.
Day.
And the funeral is the next day.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the 2 twins are going to reconcile. May will be forgiven for the people she's murdered. And they will combine the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many. They will go against Smilo Ren. And she will be revealed, and it's going to be Mother Anastasia. Mm-hmm. It's pretty obvious.
And her 2 Padawans. See, if I were them, I would declare that this series should be the origin of the Sith. So whoever Smilo Ren is, this is the first Sith, and I would figure out a way.
No, you can't. The Sith have not been seen in a millennia. That's 1,000 years. That was in Phantom Menace.
Okay. Yeah, they researched it, and they're following lore to a T. So I'm just gonna say this is the origin of the Sith. You have the 2 twins. One wants to be a Jedi, the other wants to be a Sith. And if I were a smart writer, I would say the reality is I want to switch them. I want to turn the one who wants to be a Jedi in evil, and then vice versa, and it becomes a duel to the death between the 2 twins. One of them survives and becomes the second Sith to the main Sith.
Well,
that would be more interesting to me than the direction I see this going.
The other thing is there's the Immaculate Conception, which was introduced.
Yeah,
that's how Anakin came to be, and it's now implied that there was some involvement with Shmi Skywalker, may have been a part of this coven, or later will be discovered to have been a part of the coven. It's all infuriating. It's all just makes it this fanfic. And I mean, I talked to someone who I told, oh my God, it's just so bad. Said I undersold how bad it was. It's bad. It's bad. So, Alan,
well,
any final thoughts?
I was looking at my notes in terms of the Immaculate Conception. The tension there is that the witches don't want the Jedi to figure out how they did it.
Right.
So it was something intentional. It wasn't something the Force did. It was something the witches intentionally did. Well, and it's just, again, how did we get here? How is this the natural progression and evolution of the Star Wars franchise? It's been taken over by Disney, and they don't care. So, yeah, there hasn't been a Sith for 1,000 years. Well, why does that matter now? When does lore now actually matter to Disney Star Wars?
I don't think it matters, and they are rewriting it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because we talked about they have fundamentally changed the nature of the Force. You know, the discussion goes on, and I've heard many people talk about it. That is it just merely the witches perceiving the Force in their own way, such as how religions perceive God? You know,
right?
And it just everything this show does is just fundamentally changing everything we've known about Star Wars and good and evil. That line, it's what is it? It's not about good and evil, but it's about power and who uses it and how it's used.
Yep.
You know, this is the biggest frustration I have with this series is that idea of good and evil. You know, because we have now injected current culture into Star Wars. Because you could politically line up with the story that's going on here. For example, the witches have been exiled to this planet by the Jedi. Well, I mean, where in the world out there today is one country exiling another subsection of its country to a certain area? The other thing is the Jedi come in to take these children to make them Jedi. I just saw a documentary about basically about the Native Americans, and how the white man went into the reservations, pulled kids out, and sent them to assimilation schools and boarding schools. Seems like that's what's going on here too. And then the whole police thing. You know, we've talked about how the Jedi are now cops. Well, you know, used to be we respected cops, but now cops have you know, Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
They're even in episode 1 and 2. They are do procedural like cops.
Mm-hmm.
They come to detain, you know, OSHA. They say things like stop in the name of the Republic and the Jedi Order. That's like, they literally act like cops, which doesn't make Star Wars otherworldly, which was so cool about it. It's like, it was something like you'd never seen. It wasn't quite familiar. In some ways, yes. Other ways, no.
Yeah. And then this coven is not presented as good or evil, but definitely the Jedi are presented as evil so far in this. You know, I don't think you can walk away from where we are today and not think that the problem with what's going on in the universe is the Jedi.